Hey, outliers, Niiamah Shang here. And thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We have curated an incredible roundtable of five awesome trailblazers who are going to share their experiences, the way that they see the world, and how they keep growing as an outlier and trailblazer as well. I want you to get to know these trailblazers. So let's get started. Sierra, let's start off with you. You mind letting us know more about you and the game you're playing?
Yeah, I am from a decently small town in Vernon, British Columbia. Well, yeah, Vernon, British Columbia, Canada is what it's called. And I am a jack of all arts. So I have my own podcast called The Real Talk. I am a boudoir photographer with my company Pillow Talk Studios. And I also have a hand poke tattoo business, so that is called the Stab Shack. And yeah, I am all about self-expression and allowing people to find new ways to express themselves as well. People come to me for all sorts of different reasons, and you know what? You don't always need a reason to express yourself either. So there's always, I'm here for everyone and I'm open for everyone, and I just want people to feel good in their own skin.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, Sierra. I'm really glad that you're here. And it's what's really fun about listening to you talk is like how literal each thing is too. You're like, I want to feel good in your own skin. I do like that too. Like, I think it's cool. I think it's good what you got going on. Awesome. Glad that you're here. We'll play with that.
Thanks.
Brad, let's get to know you. You mind sharing more about you and the game you're playing?
Absolutely. Brad Ebenhoeh, in Charleston, South Carolina. A ran an accounting firm with my wife for over a decade. We recently were acquired by a bigger firm named Belay, actually headquartered in Atlanta. So we're in the integration process with them. Um, the game I'm playing, I think in general, um, grew up in a really small town in Michigan. Um, were by the book and did everything that I was supposed to, do. And over time, after I got through college and got a good job and was working hard and the corporate life and kind of things, I think in my later 20s, I started realizing were probably not what I was taught or what I was conditioned to do, right? Or conditioned to operate in. So over time, as the walls started falling around me in terms of like, oh, that's what they told me, but this is really how I think life or the world is. I started to realize that there was a lot more power in the individual versus in the collective. So my mission in general, in terms of what in me going from small town to big town to entrepreneur to just I'm gonna do it and figure out myself and the whole 9 yards and growing a business to 70 people and everything we're talking about here is, the power is in the individual. Basically anybody can do anything that they want when they put their mind to it. And I try to, in any conversation with anybody that I have that's in a job or whatever or stuck, I'm like, well, let's, read some books, do some stuff. Like, let's go ahead, shake some hands and figure out what you can do and how you can execute. So,
Oh, Brad, I'm glad you're here. And it's cool because you have like both things happen. The power is in the individual, and you also build a business with 70 people in it. So I love this element. Yeah, I think a lot of times we find a way to be like we find a tension between how do we help like people have that power and still run inside of a larger organization. Maybe fun to play with some of that as it goes along. All right,
yeah.
thanks, Brad. Glad to hear. Asia, let's get to know you. Tell us more about you and the game you're playing.
So, Asia Mywya here. Mywya is an acronym, stands for Meet You Where You Are. And the game that I'm playing is the game of freedom and self-love. That kind of let me down two very distinct tracks, but I'm trying to figure out how to merge them together. So, I have one business called New Approach Marketing, which is more my operations, business coaching. I love working with small businesses, love working with other entrepreneurs. Then the other business is my more internal somatic shifts, which is my life coaching business, which is about, feeling good in your body, releasing triggers. How do you navigate this world in a very smooth and peaceful way internally so that it reflects externally? So I'm navigating that for myself. That's the mission that I'm on for myself, and I want that for other people.
Asia, I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks so much for being here. All right. Peter, let's come to you. You and the game you're playing.
My name is Peter Saddington. I'm an entrepreneur turned venture capitalist. I've raised over $40 million in venture capital through three venture capital funds. I'm currently running a $16 million venture fund in the Web3, Bitcoin, and AI space. And as you guys can clearly see, I have inherited a genetic disorder, speed. And so I have the distinct blessing of being able to deploy capital in technology companies in the motorsports industry. And that is my current game.
It's really great to have you back here, Peter. I'm excited to see where this conversation goes. And I love this element of like being able, like giving room for more growth to take place and see the combinations when you get different collisions all coming together. Glad to have you here, Peter. All right, Gwendolyn, bring us home here, please.
Yes, Gwendolyn Young, CEO of Your Virtual Admin Expert, also the podcaster of Leading Behind the Scene. And I believe the game that I'm playing, and I'm here in Chicago, is really living and working on your own terms, right? In 2013, I was diagnosed with systemic lupus, and I had to come off of my corporate job that I just loved so much. But in that process of recovery, I'm like, there's got to be a better way for me to do what I love, make money, and still take care of myself. And so I believe that you can build a business, you can lead a business, and you can do it successfully without it costing you your health or your peace or your family.
Thanks for playing that game and playing so fully, y'all. We're in for an incredible conversation. I'm gonna get us started here with this opening question, and this might end up being the only question I ask. You know, we'll see where the rest of the conversation goes. But the other day, I was struck by an entrepreneur. He put on a 3-day book launch event, and broke a Guinness world record in the process of it. And as it was happening, it really just it hit me. I just kept checking in. I was like, he's still going. And at the end, they did a behind the scenes, and during that behind the scenes element, they said like he said he and his partner said one thing that really struck me, and I think this is where I want to start our conversation. He said we set an unreasonable goal, and then we went for it and we made it happen. And this took years in the making. But we set an unreasonable goal, and it's like if there's anything we can say, is like just go and be unreasonable. And like I heard that, and like I was like, oh, this is my path for the next 5 years. Like I think it's something where I'm like, I don't even know what being unreasonable really is, but I think that that's why we're doing this, you know. And so I want to toss it into this space here. You're going to see like the conversation evolve as it needs to evolve. But I want to start us off here with the concept of being unreasonable. How are you all? What does that mean to you? What do you get from this part, even just this part of the story? And how do you all like navigate and choose to either be unreasonable or beyond? I'll leave that as a starting question. Anyone want to get started with it?
I'll get started.
Yeah, Asia, please. And do us a
Um,
favor. Just remind us your name when you speak, so we can associate you with the voice.
okay, so Asia, Mywya here. To me, when I hear being reasonable and how it's like reflected in my life is more so, I don't just be bold. Like I am very, if I have something on my mind, I'm just gonna do it. I'm a much of a doer. I still try to plan and I still try to keep that balance, but I don't want to live with regrets. That's like a big thing. Like I don't want to be on my deathbed like thinking like I should have done this. I wish I would have just did this. I should have just did it. So because of that, I'm like just do it. So that's what I think when I hear that.
This is Peter. I'll chime in here. I think this is very reminiscent of my last conversation with you, Niiamah, where we talked about uncertainty. And one of the solutions that we discussed to work yourself out of uncertainty was the act of doing. So, Asia, I absolutely echo your thoughts there. The idea of being unreasonable is the antithesis or opposite of to be reasonable and to use logic or to use good sense. And so I think for me, in many ways, the idea of being unreasonable is actually going with your gut rather than the logic or the data or the amalgam of data that we can acquire through multiple means, whether it's ChatGPT, data acquisition mechanisms, Google, etc. I think in many ways to be an entrepreneur is to trust your gut at the end of the day.
Yeah. I would also, this is Brad here, echo that in terms of I'm an accountant, CPA, left brain, right? My wife, who was my partner in our business, CPA, accountant, left brain, right? But I think a big part of the success of our business over time wasn't that we just always relied on the numbers, which again, we're accountants, right? But really it's more of reading the room, listening to people, having gut feels on does, how do we handle this employee? How do we handle this situation, right? Like the numbers don't always directly impact, how you should move forward, right? Tangible versus intangible decisions and different things that kind of pop up, along the way. So, I would agree with that. And then additionally, kind of, from unreasonable to me is just going against the status quo, right? Of kind of what you were taught or what you're supposed to do or what everybody's supposed to do and kind of, blazing your own path, and being unreasonable to, for me specifically, like the older generation. My parents, my aunts and uncles, like, oh, you guys are crazy for doing something like that. Well, if it doesn't work out, I'm sure I'll be able to get a job somewhere. It's not, the end of the world here. We're not, I'm not gonna go somewhere for 30 years and just work and then retire like a lot of the older generation, did. We're trailblazers. We want to do different things. And from my end, I think it's, um, from being unreasonable, it's kind of also like over time, you want to grow and do different things. Even though I'm 42 now, I'm a dad and have three kids and have done all this stuff, but not, like I feel like I need to continuously learn and try to do new things, right? So it's like continue to progress, continue to learn, continue to grow personally, and accounting's fine, but what else do I have next, right? So I think it's just that constant grind that I have, and drive that I have as well.
Yeah, I love that so much, Brad. This is Gwendolyn. Just piggybacking off of Peter, Asia, and Brad, when I think about unreasonable, I think about my situation with lupus, right? Everybody was saying, oh, you can't start a business. You need to slow down. You need to really focus on this and play it safe. And I was just like, lupus is either going to kill me or I'm going to beat it. One of the two. But we're not going to play it safe, right? We're not going to just go with the flow or, like Brad said, industry standard or what people taught you. I'm going to really think about how can I make this work, right? I'm not going to listen to the typical of how the industry did it. I may take tips from that, but I'm going to put my own spin on it. I'm going to bring my own individuality to it. And I am just going to go with it. I am going to make the decision. I started the business. I get to say who I'm going to work with, who I'm not, what price I'm going to charge. And people just thought I was completely mad for that, especially coming right out and being the first to join that industry and start a business, right? You can't start your prices there. Why not? Who says so?
I love that.
Yeah, Sierra here. I think to be unreasonable is to be uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable isn't a bad thing. We always think like, oh my gosh, no, I can't, I can't. But I think that we really have to change our mindset to feel that being uncomfortable can be a good thing because it's something new. And when we try new things, it feels good. And it's that gut punch of like, I need to do this, I need to do this. But you have all of these people around you. And I have my whole life. I've been in business for 13 years since I was 19. And I always had people saying, like, that's too much. That's not gonna work. That's a terrible idea. And guess what? I'm still in business, and a lot of people that I have met along the way are not. And that doesn't mean they're a failure either, but it just means that it might not have worked out for them um, in the way that they thought. And I think that a lot of success comes from, yeah, being completely unreasonable with standards that society has set for us.
Brad here. I want to when you were talking about being uncomfortable, I was reading something or listening to something in the last several weeks, and they was talking about anxiety and reframing the idea that anxiety doesn't need to be negative, right? Anxiety at its core is actually positive because it makes you uncomfortable and it kind of forces you to grow or to move forward past it or to challenge or look at what is going on at that specific time frame, right? So I really think like the uncomfortability is a good term, and it was just like an interesting kind of framing of the word anxiety. It's like, oh, okay, I can see that in terms of how it's been shaped the last, decades or several years versus really there is a way that you can look at it and capitalize and move forward, positively with it.
Absolutely.
So I'm appreciative of y'all in here because I feel there's a fire that's been lit up inside of me right now. I'm like, oh, we're doing this. We're going for it. And one of the other things I think is really wonderful and outlier is like, take a listen to this here, right? Like I talked about being unreasonable and everyone was just like, oh yeah, of course. Like, of course you have to be unreasonable to some extent or another. This was playing out. And I love having like bringing together these groups of people. Like none of y'all knew each other beforehand. Is that correct? All
Correct.
right. Yeah. So they didn't know each other. And if you're out there and you're feeling like you're alone, or you're like, I think Sierra and Brad, both of you had the stories of like we came from like small towns. Like there may not be other people that are thinking about this. We have like different generations. All these different things are playing. Like just hear this and hear that like, hey, like you're not alone in this. You're not alone in this at all. Awesome. I get really curious right now. What's something that we can take like two or three people on this one if you want, but like, what's something you're doing right now that feels like particularly unreasonable? Like, all right, enter the entrepreneur game. Unreasonable is on like on the menu, right? But what's like that $1,000 unreasonable order that you're getting? What's the biggest thing you're taking on right now? Gwendolyn, I see you like preparing for this. Is there something you want to put in?
Oh my gosh. For
You don't
me,
have to. I just want
like,
to just check it in on that.
yeah, for me, well, my heart was leaping when Brad was talking earlier about his company being acquired, and I was just like, God, what does that feel like, right? For me, I'm literally stepping fully out of client work into the CEO role, and it's scary, it's unreasonable, because I feel good in that seat, right? It's like I built it, I know how it all works, and to hand it off to somebody else to be able to fully operate and run, I'm just like, you can't do that. But I know that restructuring in that way is really going to make us, really be able to scale and longevity and sustainability. And I'm super excited about that. And so that's one thing that we're working on right now. It's just like me stepping back and taking more of a high level vision, and having someone else operate the day to day. And when I tell you, I am like, I might be calling you after this, Brad, so you can talk me off the ledge.
Hey, it may be the best decision for you.
Yeah, so it feels a little unreasonable to trust, team members, especially when you've brought on new people, or everybody doesn't work the way that you work, and trusting them at a higher level. But I know that they can do it, and I really know that this is going to be a good move for us overall.
Yeah, this is Brad here. I would just say some of the best things that ever happened to us at our business as we grew it was like if you find the right talent and you hire that person, it takes you, to the next level. So assuming
I
you
believe
have
it.
good talent, good hiring, and good, training and processes and oversight, like you'll be fine.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Mhm.
Asia here. So one of the things that I'm working on that is unreasonable. This is why I wasn't able to have our last meeting in Niiamah, because I decided to purchase a cargo trailer in Georgia. I'm originally from Georgia. And so I road tripped from Texas to Georgia, got the cargo trailer, was road tripping back, and I got into an accident with the cargo trailer. But my intention, because of my name being Mywya, meet you where you are, is I want to be a travel life coach. And I was going to renovate the camper out to be able to travel with. So now I have a trailer, but it's broken. And now I have to figure out how to fix it so I can continue on. But that was something that nobody that I know has ever done. I have friends who talk about like van life and stuff like that, but nobody's ever made any steps towards it. So I was like, I'm about to just make some steps towards it and like, lean into the name that I'm using and try to travel. So it's still gonna happen. It's just a little setback. It's a little, little snag in there, but I'm breathing through it and we're gonna get through it.
This is incredible. Like, Asia, at the end of this year, remind me, I'll connect you with someone who had been on the podcast recently, and she bought a bus, and she does
Yes,
and so she's
that was
been
great.
doing things like and like living from that perspective there. But
Yeah.
I love this idea of like, oh, it's not just an idea of meet you where you are. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
I want
actually
to
lead it.
meet you. I want to travel. I want to like go to the people.
Yeah, I love like the multiple levels of this thing there, right? It's not that I'm gonna meet you where you are mentally here, but like I'm actually gonna come in and like shake your hand and be in space with you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's
Aw-
levels to it.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's amazing.
Peter, I'm drawn to you right now. Anything coming up on this one for you?
Ah, man, I'm involved in one of the most unreasonable endeavors known to man in the collegiate sports arena. I have the obstinate blessing of being able to help build college motorsports. We have seen
Amazing.
SEC football, we've seen NCAA basketball and soccer and swimming, but you've never seen 30 cars with student drivers racing wheel to wheel on Daytona. So I'm one of my investments a couple years ago was in a company called Collegiate Racing Series, and they have done the hard lifting and heavy lifting to build motorsports globally. They have over 600 schools globally involved, and they have over 32 schools in America that are using their curriculum to build their first race teams and their first motorsports programs. So it's exciting to be part of their journey, and I am excited to see all these student drivers racing wheel to wheel on ESPN in 2027.
Oh, that's
Love
cool.
that.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
love that.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Y'all in need of a little miniature mascot? I have a nephew who would be thrilled for something like that.
We have 600 schools globally. You can check it out at drivecrs.com. It's really cool
Okay.
stuff. Really fun investment.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Very unreasonable to start a college sport. I mean, if most people think about college sports being all encompassing and they've covered everything, but
Hmm.
no, 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 right? One thing that I've learned being participatory in the kind of growing of a new collegiate sport in motorsports, which is a very well-known sport around the world, it just hasn't entered into the collegiate and college space yet, is drone racing. Drone racing is also having a
Oh,
huge
wow.
growth all over the world, and I never knew about it, but sometimes you get interconnected with different worlds and different communities, and drone racing is looking to also enter the collegiate sports world as well. So that's really, really fun.
I used to work
Peter, good.
here. Oh,
Oh, no,
sorry.
go ahead, Asia.
I just to speak about the drone thing. I used to work for a nonprofit. It was for like more inner city type kids, and we would bring technology into their reality. And one of the we would have robotics competitions at the end of each quarter, and part of the robotics competition was drone racing. So I'm glad to see that this is a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing, but you learn what you don't know when you smash atoms together and you meet amazing people. So
Yeah, smash atoms.
it's awesome.
That's awesome. Anyone else feeling called to put anything on this one? Otherwise, we move on to the next one.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say Peter has. Oh, go ahead, Sierra.
Oh, it's okay. You can finish your thoughts first.
I was just gonna say Peter has really inspired me because I've been sitting on this thought of bridging this gap of really taking the virtual assistant world and infiltrating the actual physical world. And so that came from last year. We landed a really large corporate client, and I was like, how many other big corporations are out there that could utilize our services? And now I'm like, Peter's got me thinking like I just need to figure out the plan and then just go for it because that's just so amazing. I'm so inspired right now.
It's a huge endeavor, but when there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
These amazing founders have put hundreds of thousands of seats in hundreds of thousands of miles in planes flying all over the world, meeting all these 600 plus schools globally over the last 2 years to create a consortium to say, yeah, it's time for racing with college kids. Like, yeah, let's do this. So, it's a true story of perseverance and determination for sure.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, so Sierra here. And I mean, since none of you know me, this is going to be kind of maybe a little bit weird, but it's bold and it's definitely unreasonable. But I left my husband on the 25th of July. So it's pretty new, it's pretty fresh. Every day is a roller coaster. And I know some people might be like, well, what does that have to do with business? But it has everything to do with business as well. It was a very, very hard last 12 months of my life. And throughout that time, I really realized that like there's so many things holding me back, and that my relationship was definitely one of them. Obviously, boudoir photography is on the more risque side of life in general. And you know, it was quite hard navigating in a relationship my business to what I could even put out there of myself. And I'm not talking about like crazy nude photographs or anything like that, but anything that would come up in our relationship would always come out. And why are you doing this with your business? And why are you doing that? And why, like, what do you mean this person came in and you did this type of shoot? Or even with my podcast or my hand poke tattooing business, it was always like, well, you're almost like too busy um, for me, that's kind of like what the conversation always was, is you're too busy for me. And I would give and give and give and give, and it never felt like I was giving enough. And I was almost in a way probably like distracting myself in a lot of different ways with all of my different businesses and such. Um, but I would give and give, and it just never felt like my work was being appreciated by my partner and the hard work that I was putting in. And oh my goodness, getting approved for like health board certification for my tattooing business was it was a roller
Oh, I can
coaster. It was
imagine.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And having someone try to take, I wouldn't say ownership. What is the word I'm looking for? Trying to like almost share my accomplishments with me was very hard, because all of these businesses I have always done by myself with a little encouragement. But I was the one working from home every day, figuring out all of the steps, how to go forward with it. Again, being unreasonable to get where I wanted to be. And yeah, I did it on my own, and it came to the point where I went, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And it has been so unreasonably freeing being able to do what I want when I want and not have to worry about someone being upset by the smallest actions. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
Sierra.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for
I
thanks. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Brad here. Um, I literally we were at a company retreat last week, and I'm talking about like with this business coach that was presenting to the leadership team, and he was talking about, you know, telling your team like, what to focus on, what's clarity, focus on, all this type of stuff. And like for me, coming from running a business with my wife, having multiple kids, doing everything, just grind, 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 to selling the company, now integrating, transitioning, what's next for me, right? Like it's like this business midlife crisis, right? Um, which is great. Like I love, figuring it out. But as part of it, he was talking about, he's like, oh, because I was saying several different things, and he goes, oh, you need to read this book called Necessary Endings. So actually I'm reading this book called Necessary Endings, and it just reminded me of what you're talking about, where it's like basically everything in life ends, seasons end, businesses end, relationships end. You got to understand and know when to end them. You got to constantly prune things and cut back the plants and the dead plants and everything. So I think it's kind of like, just your story like reminded me of that, of like, oh yeah, it's like sometimes endings are a good thing, right? And we always have to make a decision on and ending something specifically, whether it's a relationship, business, a little decision, a big decision, whatever. So, good book so far. If anyone wants to check it out.
Mywya here. I love the analogy of the pruning. I love that. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind because
Yeah.
with the smaller decisions, it's just intention. I also wanted to add, like in Sierra, in your story, you had someone who was deeming the things that you were doing as unreasonable. But I also want to just like congratulate all of us for even finding what we're doing as unreasonable, because I know like people who achieve a lot, sometimes, at least for me, I feel like I'm never getting to my potential. So that causes me to keep going forward and keep going. And I sometimes don't see what I'm doing as unreasonable, or like it just seems like the next step, the next thing that I got to do, I'm chasing this like feeling of I want to achieve more and more. So I'm glad that we were able to like actually identify that what we're doing is exceptional in our stories, and because it's kind of hard to see that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that. Gwendolyn here. Sierra, I just really grateful for you being so transparent, because that's a reality that many leaders face, right? Many business owners face. And I don't think that there's a space where we talk about it enough, where sometimes marriage, entrepreneurship puts pressure on marriages, it put pressure on relationships, and we don't really talk enough about that and talk about the boundaries and the priorities, and how sometimes life will require more and our business will require more, and really having that support. And sometimes it comes down to making those hard choices and decisions. And that's not what we would have thought or dreamed when we initially started out. And then it shifts that way. And so I just say, thank you for bringing that conversation to the forefront, and congratulations on living through the hard choice. And I'm excited to see what comes out on the next side for you.
Thank you.
Y'all have me vigorously taking notes and nodding here, as you're speaking. There's something I see of myself in each of you, and I appreciate that. Asia, you just brought in. It feels like I'm never reaching my potential, and as you said that, I was like, ooh, we're allowed to say that out loud, you know.
Oh,
We're allowed to say that out loud, and so. I want to keep playing with this element here of what's coming to me is energy along this, right?
Mm.
And so like it's one thing to be unreasonable. We're like, yeah, we got this, right? And then but it takes something, right? And Sierra, what I was hearing here, you made me think about my relationship. Like I'm thinking, it's just it's like it takes energy to keep making this come out. So I'm curious about how you all um navigate and either navigate the energy it takes to be unreasonable, to play the unique game that you do, or how you at least keep tabs on or such around it. I feel like there's an energy management and energy growth component that I love to explore, to just to keep us in the game as we're playing through. Anyone feeling called on that? Let me know if I have to ask if I have to ask that question differently.
Yeah, I see her here. I think I can speak to this. So, as I said before, like the last 12 months of my life they've been pretty insane. And so I guess almost a year to the date, I was clinically diagnosed with endometriosis back in 2018. And I had been waiting to get into a specialist. And essentially, what happened to me was I had a 10-day pain flare up where I was in and out of the hospital. I was so incredibly sick that I just I couldn't do anything. There's no explanation as to, why endometriosis happens. And if you don't know what it is where a tissue that is like the lining of the uterus grows in other parts of the body. So it's not supposed to be there, causes a lot of pain. And yeah, essentially it took me from the level, like probably like a level 9, 10, and forced me down to a level 1. And finding my energy right now has been a lot because I had to take such a big step back. And I did have um, endometriosis excision surgery back in April. And, after that, it was kind of like, what's next? And I had to think like, what is next? Like, where am I going with this? Like, how do I find how do I find the energy to get back to where I was? And right now, I want to do more than where I was. I feel like at that time I was almost on like an autopilot mode. And now I've had some time to step back and to reassess basically my life, my businesses, my choices, and yeah, finding my energy to go back into, an 11, a 12, a 13 out of 10 is where I want to be. And it's slowly happening. Obviously, there's been a lot going on in my life right now. So it's been a roller coaster day by day. But you know what? Some days I pick up my laptop, I work for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, you know what? Today is not the day for this. And if I try to put this work and this energy in today, it is not going to be what I want it to be. So I would rather wait a day or two, pick up the computer another day, and actually be able to create something fantastic rather than create something mediocre because I quote have to. So yeah, that's kind of my energy and my, thoughts on life right now.
Yeah, I love that. This is Gwendolyn here. This one hits very close to home for me for, very similar reason, like I shared earlier with lupus. And so I had to learn very early on, I'm going to choose sanity and I'm going to choose peace every time, right? Over everything. And so I learned to set priorities and boundaries and really think about what did I need first, and then I build everything else around that because I knew hospital visits were going to be inevitable, right? Lupus is so unpredictable and I don't know when it's going to rear its ugly head. And so I put systems in place to help protect my energy, to help keep things flowing. But being very clear on those boundaries, not being afraid to communicate those boundaries with my clients and with my team so that they were aware. I didn't wear it as like this badge of shame, right? I didn't ask for lupus. It happened. It's a part of my life. It's a part of, how I operate. And so I have to incorporate that into the things that I do. And so being very clear about priorities and boundaries and managing my time in a way that honors what's important to me, and my health is at the very top of that list.
Uh,
Asia, oh, go ahead, Brad. 'Cause,
sure. All right, I'll hop in. Sorry about that, but Brad here. So it's interesting. I think right now I'm actually very much have a lot more energy. Like I've always just been a hard worker, just get out and grind, do it, do work hard, and good things will happen, right? And that's what's happened in my life. I've been very, very blessed with it all. But the last several years with our business, having clients, bunch of employees, like and I was basically the led sales marketing, right? So like from my perspective, it was my responsibility to ensure all of my team members are employed, making money, get raises, all that type of stuff, right? So, but that was basically my responsibility to get new sales, new sales, new sales, new sales. So essentially, I was constantly like fight or flight, go, 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 and I just started getting exhausted, like overall, just like it was fine, but overall, I'm like, I just can't do this forever, right? So that was one of the big decisions where we identified, like, it's time I just can't do this like long term anymore, right? So basically, moving from that fight or flight and just go, 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 and never really being able to. I mean, we were on like the Inc. 5,000 like 6 times. It's like cool, whatever. And you like never celebrating our wins, right? Like, and just because you're just go, 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 go. That's just who I am or who I was. So I'm re-energized now. So at that point, it was just like go. But then you do have to realize at some point in your life that, all right, I need to reset. And for me now, it's more of having more control over long term of like creatively what I want to do, and then directing that energy to that to what I wanted to do and what my passion or what my creativity is moving forward, right? Whether that's uh, in my same job, whether that's not in my same job or whatever. So I think from my aspect of just harnessing energy, it's just identifying and being aware of what's going on or where you're at, and if you're happy, fine. But if not, like, is there a way that you can reset or move on in a different way?
No, I love that so much, Brad. Gwendolyn here. I want to just add to that. I think, and also being conscious of where you use your energy, right? I have learned that everything does not deserve my energy. Like there's just some things I'm not going to entertain because I'm like, I don't have the energy, I don't have the capacity, I don't have the space. That is not in line with where I'm going or what I'm doing. I'm just going to exit left and not even engage.
Yeah.
Love it.
Asia
Love it.
Mawaya here. I'm just gonna quickly add that I'm just grateful that y'all spoke on y'all's story. I'm battling burnout, and I didn't realize it was a real I knew it was a real thing, but I didn't realize it was like it can be a little debilitating. Like you hit a wall. So I'm grateful, like Gwendolyn, I'm grateful how you explained it dealing with lupus because you said it was such a self-acceptance and self-love that it's like, okay, this is just how I'm functioning. And it's like you just create your world around that. And so I'm learning. So thank you, Sierra. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Gwendolyn, for sharing y'all's version. Appreciate that.
Well, I'm really appreciative of all of you. Like this conversation, I look, I'm like, wow, the time has really flown here. Thank you for not holding anything back. And outliers, the way that we play in this space here is that like we've been having a conversation with you being the seventh person a part of this conversation. And the way that this works here is that we're doing this on not just for us, but on behalf of you. And there's probably someone in your world right now who would really benefit from the conversation that was had here. Something in there where like it would hit their heart, not just their head. And my ask is that, like, yes, go ahead and share it on your larger their platforms. But if you can think of that one person and share this episode with them and let them know, hey, I heard this conversation. I was thinking of you. I think it's going to make all the difference in the world. We can just share one person, one conversation at a time. I think we're going to make sure the right person gets the right message each and every time. And for that, I think like that's completely worth it. Right? It would mean the absolute world to me. So, y'all, we're going to wrap up our conversation. The way that I wrap is in two ways. We answer two questions each, and we'll do it fairly succinctly for today. So, the two questions we ask is one, please let us know about how people can go deeper down the journey with you. What's your best contact info? There's a lot of different ways we can get contacted, but if you had a guide outliers to a place, where would that be? And then the second question is, what insight are you leaving here for yourself? Right. I don't hold any spaces. I don't bring people together without like actually making sure it's worthwhile for you and make sure that like there's a transformation possible. So if there's any insight that you got from this conversation, please share it. If no insight, like just be like, oh, I'm good on it, and that's fine as well. All right, awesome. So what we'll do here, we'll go in this order here. Gwendolyn, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, thank you so much, Niiamah. I think for me, what I'm taking away is that you can bring the whole of you to building, right? Just based off the conversations that we've had here today and what people have been sharing, that, we can be proud of how we're living, the things that are happening in our lives, and it doesn't take away from how successful we are as business people and business owners, and we can still do that work that we love. And so I'm excited. I am going to walk away and go build more boldly. I'm going to grow more wisely. And I am just going to go and really seek more ways to be unreasonable in all the areas.
Thank you. And if there's a how do we go deeper down the journey with you, Gwendolyn?
Yes, please reach out to me. You can reach me at your virtual admin expert as well as across all social channels. My handle is your admin expert.
Perfect. So glad that you're here. Brad, let's come to you. Would you mind sharing how we go deeper and an insight you got from today?
Yeah, how you can go deeper. I guess two ways, brad@accountfully.com, or just go on my LinkedIn or Twitter page and send me a note, Brad Ebenhoeh. You'll see my name here. I think two things I take away from this. Number one is like, this brings me back to the day of just launching my business, getting out, shaking hands, networking people, talking to people that I don't know, and talking about personal business, whatever. And as the business grew and there was a lot going on, the networking became less, and just the day-to-day monotony became more. So getting back into the world of shaking hands and talking to people and going to coffee with random people and learning their journey and just bullshitting at the end of the day. That's what I want to do. And then secondly, I'm gonna check out this whole race car thing at some point. Not me personally, not my kid either, but just looking at it. So
Not
I
my
love
kid.
it. I love it. Brad, did you let us know how we can go deeper with you, by the way?
yeah, find me at either brad@accountfully.com or my LinkedIn or Twitter page.
All right.
Brad.
Appreciate it. We'll go to Sierra and then we'll go to Peter.
Yeah, Yeah, so I think overall for the conversation, I think for me it was nice to share what I have been going through with people that aren't my friends and family. And that what I chose for my life is unreasonable, but a way to grow as well. And Brad talking about that book and that business retreat that he was on recently was it was nice to hear. And I think it's really cool that, yeah, all of us, you know, have struggled with the whole thoughts of, is this the right thing to do? But it is. It is the right thing to do. And yeah, you can dig deeper with me. You can send an inquiry through my website, pillowtalkstudios.com. But if you want to actually just like talk to me, any of my Instagram accounts, I have many. I have one for the Stab Shack, I have one for Pillow Talk Studios, and I have one for the Real Talk podcast. I think it's just at the root. It's the Real Talk Pod, something like that. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Thank you so much, Sierra.
Mhm.
Really appreciate you. Peter and then Asia.
I enjoyed this conversation. It's the second time I've come back, and it's just great to smash atoms with other people and listen to other people's stories. Once again, reminds us that we're not alone in this large world, and in reality, we're all quite close, and we're all quite similar with the same fears, frustrations, dreams, passions, and desires. And so it is good to know that we are still yet human, and I appreciate all of you humans very much. So you can find me online. It's not hard, Peter Saddington, or you can just type in Bitcoin racing. That's it.
Thanks,
Okay.
Peter. And Asia, bring us home.
So this is Asia here, and I'm glad I joined this panel. I'm loving like everybody's different version of their like extraordinary life. Peter, I just feel like you have the most fun. Like, and that's so inspiring. I want a life like that, you know? So I just appreciate hearing everybody's story. I kind of forgot the question, but you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm more on TikTok now. I'm trying to stretch my legs on there. So on TikTok is Life Coach Mywya. On Instagram, follow me so I can follow you is Transformation Coach Asia Mywya or Transformation Coach Mywya. One of those.
I'm pretty sure if you look up Mywya online, you're gonna find her.
Yes.
Yeah, MY.
MYW, yeah, MYWYA, meet you where you are is the acronym. And then I do have a podcast. It's on pause right now, but if you want to listen to my previous episodes, it's called Soul Uninhibited, SOL Uninhibited. Try to spell that
That's awesome.
without making a mistake.
That's awesome.
And I look forward to, like Gwendolyn said, staying connected with everybody and beyond.
Well, thank you all for being here. You've been incredibly just been very generous with yourself and your experiences. Outliers, until the next time we talk, remember, be you on purpose. Journey on.